Coming up on Aggie Sports Overtime, for the second year in a row, Johnny Manziel spent the second Saturday of December in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation, but he didn't leave with his second 25-pound bronze statue. Plenty of coaches coming and going as the college football coaching carousel hits a fever pitch in the SEC and around the country, while the Aggies learn their bowl fate, making for a devilish New Year's Eve in Atlanta for the maroon and white. On the hardwood, the Aggie men stay hot with another win at Reed Arena, while the ladies catch a plane to Happy Valley for a matchup of top 25 teams with revenge on their minds. Aggie Sports Overtime starts now.
Welcome to Aggie Sports Overtime. And now, here's Luke Simons and Chris Vlahos.
Thank you for joining me. I'm Chris Vlahos. Luke Simons has the night off, and it's hard to believe it's been a year since Johnny Manziel became the first freshman in college football history to win the Heisman Trophy. Tonight, the Aggie quarterback was a finalist for the award once again, and for the second consecutive year, a freshman took home the hardware.
And the winner is Jameis Winston, Florida State University.
That's how it looked and sounded. Jameis Winston becomes the second freshman in college football history with a Heisman Trophy. In 77 tries, a freshman had never won the award, and now back-to-back years of a freshman quarterback winning the statue. Here's what the 19-year-old had to say.
First and foremost, I just want to thank God and Heisman trustees and the past Heisman winners for allowing this dream to come true. So many people instilled in me trust in the process. From there, know the truth.
An interesting choice of words there from Winston. This is how they voted. Jameis Winston becomes the youngest Heisman Trophy winner at 19 years and 342 days. He earned 668 first-place votes and more than 2,200 points, but was left off of 115 ballots entirely. A.J. McCarron finished second with 79 first-place votes and 704 total points. As for Manziel, he finished fifth with 421 total points behind Jordan Lynch and Andre Williams, but ahead of Trey Mason. Before those young men attended the Heisman ceremony, new news on a very old story. As first reported by the Longhorn Network, Texas head football coach Mack Brown will resign from his position. He plans on coaching the Longhorns in the Valero Alamo Bowl against Oregon on December 30th. Brown coached the Horns for 16 seasons, leading the team to one national championship in 2005. As football season winds down, college basketball season heats up. In the SEC, one ranked team was in action this afternoon in a battle of college basketball blue bloods as Kentucky faced North Carolina. Plenty of history hanging in the rafters at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. 3-point Carolina lead in the second half. Tar Heels set the screen, and Marcus Page doubles that lead with a triple. Still a 6-point UNC lead. Watch the Tar Heels move it up the floor on Kentucky. Methodically work the ball around. It ends up in the hands of James Michael McAdoo. He heads to the 10, gets the bucket over a pair of Wildcat defenders. Tar Heels again in transition, up by 5. Bryce Johnson comes down with it. Little give and go. Johnson finishes with a flush. The Dean Dome absolutely rocking at that point, but it was a 4-point game with 16 seconds left. All Carolina has to do is inbound it. They do, and J.P. Takoto puts the exclamation point on this one. North Carolina gives Kentucky its third loss of the season, winning it by 5. Traditionally, this show is for Aggie and SEC sports, but the Brenham Cubs played their way into the show Saturday afternoon with an impressive performance at Reliance Stadium against Port Lavaca Calhoun in a state semifinal game. The Cubs started off hot, and they never looked back. On their first drive, they have to settle for a field goal, but wait, they go for the fake. Caleb Hill finds James Holman for the touchdown. Brenham leads 7-0. Some trickeration gets everybody on their feet. That would set the tone for the rest of the game. Still early in the first, Hill to Trayvonte Johnson. He's able to corral it. A great leaping grab, some nice celebration. Brenham up 14-0. Calhoun would respond. Midway through the first, Corey Williams slips the tackle, and he's off to the races. Almost takes it 89 yards, but he's brought down by Desmond Lockett. Oh, so close. That's all right. 3 plays later, the Sand Crabs would score. They inch their way in, cut Brenham's lead to 7 at the end of the first. Early in the second, Cubs came charging right back. This time, Ernest Patterson powers in 21-7. The big story, though, of the first half was Brenham's defense. They recovered 4 fumbles in the first half, 2 of which they returned for touchdowns on consecutive plays, and the Cubs up 35-14 at halftime. They would go on to win this one big today, 56-21, a 14-game winning streak. Here's what Coach had to say after the win.
The main thing is we just wanted to show that we were going to be very aggressive. We wanted to be aggressive through the ball game, and that's what we were hoping for. It worked out well, and that's really all it was.
Our mentality the second half was we're going to do it, it's going to be clicking, and we didn't think about the negative. We were only thinking about positive, who we were going to block, who I was going to throw to, receivers going to block, run their routes, and I think it really clicked in the second half.
So it is set Saturday, December 21st at Cowboys Stadium. The 14-1 Brenham Cubs face the undefeated Aledo Bearcats. Aledo's 23-point semifinal win Saturday was the closest game the Bearcats have played all year, and the first time they've scored less than 40 points in a game.